iReader is a very influential brand in the e-reader industry, whether you like it or not, or whether you know it or not. iReader makes a whole bunch of pens. They make the tips for the Remarkable 2 and other manufacturers, and they actually white label their devices out. They also have a full line of devices, including e-readers, note takers, and large screen devices, and they're working on English firmware for across the board. This is the latest device, well, accessory or peripheral device from iReader, the X Pen 3 SE. This is a follow-up to the X Pen 3rd generation that had the eraser without the eraser. And you might be wondering why they would take a step back, and it's not taking a step back because they still have the one with an eraser. This is expanding their lineup past what they already have. You can open the box like this, you get iReader X Pen 3 nicely embossed into even the little slip inside the box, and it's on the outside too. They don't hold back on their packaging. It is very nice material, very nice quality. I'm not sure what's in here actually. It could be a couple nibs or a puller tool of some sort. And there actually isn't any nibs, so you don't get any additional nibs. You just get a little bit of a how-to and what to use it on kind of thing, where it works, a bunch of Chinese information. How to remove the puller tool, or the nib rather, you can just take it out with your fingertips, or if you have nails, or you can use nail clippers or scissors. It really isn't that hard. The fact that you think you need a nib puller tool, it's not a proprietary tool, it's just a piece of metal that grabs it. This is really cool because it's an all new pen. It's nicely weighted. It has this graphite gunmetal kind of paint job on it with a black tip and a black acceptor slot right here for the tip. The back has no eraser, as the SE is more of an economical entry and it is cheaper, but it does have this nice line on the side too, and that's meant to snap on the device because they have a whole line of devices. They have the Smart 3, they have the iReader XS Pro, they have a lot of readers that they make. They make a whole line of e-readers, and you may not actually know it, but they really do. And they've been making the X Pen for 3.5 generations now. Let's compare the weight to a couple other pens. So we'll use this as an actual benchmark. So we have 17 grams, which is on the heavier side of a pen. A standard ballpoint is 10 grams. An iFlytek pen is 13 grams. A Reinkstone / Topjoy pen is 8 grams, and the big boy Sony pen is 16 grams. So this is actually heavier than the Sony pen, which is made out of aluminum with a USB charger and a lithium-ion battery on board. This is a nicely weighted pen. It really is very nice to hold in your hands. It's very meaty and it's sleek. It's a pretty good pen. Now, but you know what we got to do? We have to write on an ENKNOTE to really get the entire purpose of the pen. So for testing purposes, we have the good eReader INKNOTE color here. You can use the pen that came with it, or you can use the iReader pen, which we're obviously going to do. So the tips. Now, granted, this isn't going to be a different writing experience because the tips themselves are the exact same as the ones we're using for ours. They're the same manufacturer. In fact, iReader's making them for both. They're interchangeable. So that's not going to be what's important. What's going to be important is the weight in your hand and the shape of it and the contours. And you might be thinking, oh, it doesn't matter, you're just taking notes. All of that matters. If you're here watching this video about this pen and you're into digital stationery, then all of it matters. It's extremely important because those are the measurable metrics that we must talk about. The feel, the stickiness, the texture, the weight, the balance. Is it top heavy? Is it back heavy? This one is top heavy. It's actually tilting towards this end of the pen more so than the back of the pen. So all of these things are incredibly important. And I can say that the tip is the exact same as I said, but the overall feel and the weightiness of this is quite nice. You never feel like you're going to drop it. It's not silky. It does have texture. It doesn't feel like sandpaper. A lot of these have that kind of sandpapery texture to it. This one does not. It feels rough and coarse, kind of like you're touching the back of a Kindle, not like you're touching the back of a glass smartphone, or the smooth painted clear coat finish of the Good eReader BIGME pen. This one is very kind of slippery because it is painted and coated in a flake paint. That's not what this one is. This one is far more matte. As you can see, it's shiny because of the flake paint, but there's no clear coat. In fact, this has some sort of layer on it. It's not sticky, it's not silky, it's not smooth. It gives it a very nice feel. It won't fall out of your hand. You can't push this out of your hand. The stickiness of the actual tips are so-so. I personally like a Stadler tip, or more of a kind of a Bic tip that is a little bit more sticky and slightly more flexible. The ones that are kind of the stock WACOM tips that iReader produces are very hard and coarse with a little bit of felt nature to it, but overall it's a very good writing experience. It is good in the hand, it looks great, and more important, it's a new unit from iReader. They're just never stopping when it comes to expanding the digital stationery lineup, because they're one of the hugest players in the digital stationery game. It really does show that they're just going all out on digital stationery. Now that SuperNote is basically out of the game in the main line of devices, iReader is set to basically take their place, have the largest lineup of digital stationery, and just kill it across the board.